Today in the studio, as you already know, I got a real treat for you. Ken Joslin in the house. What's cracking, Ken?
What's up, my friend?
Guys, if you haven't heard of Ken yet, he's an up-and-comer. Like, he's been around for a long time. Don't call it a comeback because he's been here for years, but he's getting more and more known now, I guess, because of the good works. Grow, stack, drive. That's your thing.
GSD, baby. It also stands for get shit done, bro.
Get shit done.
That's exactly
now,
right.
Folks, it doesn't sound like it, but he used to be a pastor. I think he's decided, there ain't no God, and now he's saying, screw it. No, that's not true.
No, that's not true at all.
But used to be a minister, pastor, things like that.
Yeah,
and a very successful, real estate mortgage?
The last 25 years, I spent half of that in full-time vocational ministry. That means I got paid to do ministry, planting churches, pastoring churches. The other half, a highly successful mortgage broker from 01 to about 09. Number one wholesale broker for SunTrust and Countrywide about 4 years in a row in 3 states, 2 locations. And now I'm back on the real estate side. I've got teams in Birmingham and teams in Atlanta, residential, commercial real estate.
So what is the GSD?
Yeah, so Grow Stack Drive is a coaching firm that I started about a year ago after I met this crazy guy named Grant Cardone, and I had been actually coaching ministry leaders and helped a friend of mine on his coaching company start the business arm of his coaching company, and always wanted to do my own coaching and consulting.
So that's really what did it. You met Grant, it inspired you, and said, man, I can go bigger.
I told probably if you ask Grant, he calls me a preacher. He goes, hey, preacher, what's going on? That's what he calls me all the time. I spoke down at
Grant's cool.
Yeah, he is. He says, what's up, preacher? But I was down there last year speaking to the whole team, and I told Grant that day, there's about 12 of us that were there. We did some one-on-one with Grant, and I told him, I said, the best thing I can tell you when I came down to boot camp October in 2019 was the businessman on the inside of me got born again that day. Like something happened on the inside of me and literally lit a fire inside of me. And so from there, real estate business grew about 600%. I started Grow Stack Drive. We've grown that thing like crazy over the past 7-8 months.
That's why I've been hearing about you.
Yeah. Yep. That's it, man.
Because you got your spirit back.
That's it.
The good spirit. Hey, by the way, if you're in the pastoral world, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
You've heard me say it, I'm sure.
I have.
What am I going to ask?
You're going to ask me the names of God.
No.
Oh, that's not it.
I'll get there. Yeah. But no, I'm going to ask you, how come all the churches that call Jesus Jesus call him Jesus when they know, or at least some of them, that that's not his name?
Yeshua?
That's his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yeshua, if that's how you pronounce it nowadays, how do you pronounce that one nowadays?
I guess it would still be Yeshua.
Nope. Well, technically, yes, because names are sounds,
right,
not words.
Right.
People don't get that. Like, well, it says Brad. Well, again, those are the letters trying to get you to make the sound that they gave me. Names are sounds. If I say your name's Ken in any language. You understand? It's not. Well, it's Hong Tang Tang in Chinese. No, it didn't.
It's Ken.
It's Ken.
Right.
Your parents gave it to you when they spoke the word, the name, right? So it doesn't change, right? So why did his name change? It was Yeshua. Now it's Jesus.
To Americanize it, that's a great question.
No. Have you ever looked, though?
No, I have not.
See, dude, I might inspire you to get back into ministry. Because, dude, when I start telling people this, they're like, it's a great question. But, people that know, like big-time pastors, like that rhino in my conference room, Pastor Paul Goulet gave me that.
I know Paul.
Yeah, and, dude, when I asked him, he's like, how did you know that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, nobody really knows much about that. So I always ask people that are in ministry, do they know? And it sounds like you don't really know.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah, well, the name would be Joshua today.
Okay.
Are there Joshuas in the Bible?
Of course there is. Yeah. Joshua's got his own book.
Yeah, but those are all Yeshuas.
Yeah.
You know that? His name was the same as a lot of other people, Yeshua. So it changed. Why do you think that is?
Man, that's a good question. But I can tell by the look on your face, you already have that information.
I have an opinion.
Okay.
Well, my opinion is, if you believe in the scripture, it says that the devil will deceive the whole world. So I think that's part of it. I think when the scripture got translated into Greek and Latin, they changed the name. Did you know that? Did you? They changed the name. And do you know why they changed the name? I think because they don't want us to have it. Why? Well, it says Give praise to his name.
There's power in his name.
There's power. Call upon it, doesn't it?
Acts 4:12. There's one name under heaven given by which men must be saved.
See, and what name is that?
That's Jesus.
No, it
Yeshua.
isn't. That's
Jehovah.
the whole point.
Right.
It's not. It's
right.
not the name. It's like if I said when you come to Vegas, bro, anywhere you go, dude, use my name. Tell everybody you're with me, man, and they will take care of you. Now, let's say on the way here, he said his name's not Brad, it's Barney. And you rolled into the casino and you said, "What's up? I'm with Barney." And the casino said, "And?" What would you think?
Yeah, they would.
What would you think of me telling you what I told you? And
right.
you thought my name was Barney, and you came in, you used it, and everyone said,
"I don't know who Barney is."
So what would you think of me?
That you were a liar.
Would you doubt me?
Yeah.
Would you go towards me or away from me?
No, definitely away from me.
Okay, that's why I think it's the devil. That's why I think it's the evil that exists. And by the way, people are like, "Oh, the devil." Look, bro, if you believe in Jesus, you have to believe in the devil.
Yes,
you have to. So when people like to act like the devil doesn't exist, look, if you think a God exists, well, then the devil has to, if you believe in that. Mm-hmm. I'm still seeking. Everyone always says, "Well, Brad, what do you believe?" If I died right now and I had to pick, I'd say, Christian, I guess. Why? I grew up here and, my family and, my grandma was Catholic and I heard it all. And there's a lot of truth to it. Problem is there's some contradictions as well. Do you know those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's several.
I ain't turning this into a ministry. However, we are when more than two gather, we're having church right now.
Matthew 18.
Little fellowship. We're fellowshipping. But guess what? I think maybe when people say, "Brad, that's interesting," I think to myself, well, maybe it's not me really prompting this. Maybe I'm just the vessel through which it flows. Maybe you're the intended vessel, and I'm just the vessel to get you to, because this is what I asked Paul. Why would you sit there and say Jesus all Sunday when you know it's not his name? He said, "Brad, it's hard enough to get him there.
Right.
I'm not going to confuse him." And it makes sense. Oh, okay. But guess what? That ain't necessarily what the book says. Like what you just deciding that, hey, give praise to my name. Yeah, we'll call you Chuck. Hey, by the way, my name's pretty important to me. I want you to sing praise to it, and I want you to call upon it. We'll call you Chuck. How about that? See, I think there's something to it. Now, I could be wrong, though. That's just my opinion. But, folks listening, do your own research. I always get a bunch of action off this, DMing me left and right. People are like, his name was Jesus because they couldn't translate it into the Latin language. It was Aramaic, and then when they translated it, it translated Jesus. Well, the letter J was created in the 1500s. So it wasn't a J at all. It was an I. It was Iesus. And Iesus was to literally, back in 325 AD, when Constantine knew that the Roman Empire was crumbling, there was 52 different religions, all free to do whatever they want. There was sun worshipers, there was Greek mythology, there was all of these different religions. Nazarenes, by the way, they weren't called Christians, just so you know. They were called Nazarenes. Okay, so are you Nazarene? Is that what are you a follower of Yahshua? Because if you believe that story, well, then you're a Nazarene. You're not a Christian. People say Christian means anointed one, and it's a Christos. Not true. Look up the word Christian and look to the very beginning of that word. You'd be amazed what it means.
Well, in Scripture, it says they first called them Christians in Antioch because they acted like Christ. That was really where that word.
Does it say Christians?
Yeah, it says that's what it says in the New Testament. It says they were first called Christians in Antioch because after Jesus was born, and after Jesus died, resurrected from the dead, obviously that's the pinnacle. That's the bedrock of faith. Is that he did exactly what he said he was going to do, live 33 sinless years.
Who caused him to rise?
The Father did.
Wasn't himself?
Well, it is because it is the Godhead. It is the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
So they're the same?
All in one, yes.
Well, then let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. When Yahshua was on the cross, the story goes, he looked up and said, "Why have thou forsaken me?" Who's he talking to? Himself?
He's talking to the Father.
He doesn't know why he did that to himself?
No, he knew exactly why. But
why
he's
did he
living
ask?
that out because he's living that out in flesh form because he actually took the punishment
for
us.
That's not really a real answer. Like, why did he ask himself if he himself knew? Of course, I know what I'm doing.
Because he wanted us to understand the things that we go through in our flesh. And so when we read that story.
Yeah, but could it have been, Ken, that he, Yahshua, was talking to the big guy, like the actual God?
In flesh form, yes. John chapter 1, it talks about, and I love the Message translation, it talks about how Jesus took on flesh and moved into the neighborhood.
Do you know the name of God?
Do what now?
Do you know the name of God? God, the one who rose up.
Jehovah.
Yahshua.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Jehovah.
Is that it?
Well, there's 7 different names in the Old Testament for
Which
Jehovah.
ones are they?
Kenitsu, Jehovah Rapha. Oh my gosh, now you put me on the spot. Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Kenitsu.
How come we're never saying those?
It's more of an Old Testament theology. I mean, we do. I mean, there's a lot of pastors that still in each of those.
By the way, am I getting you nervous?
No, you're good, man. I didn't know this was what we were going to talk about, but I'm good talking about this, my friend.
Hey, well, that's the power of dropping bombs, dude. We just start chatting. There could be someone right now being saved because of this conversation.
Let me say this to you, Brad. And I know you talked about different guys. Benny Perez is here. He's a pastor at Church Las Vegas. I've known Benny for 20 some odd years. Got a phenomenal church. The one thing is what we've done, what religion has done. I would say the difference between religion and Christianity. And I never even talked about, are you a Christian? I would say, are you a Christ follower? Because the whole New Testament really is a picture of that we've got this God, because we think that if we do something wrong, God's going to be angry with us. We think that God's frustrated with us. I said this one time two things I did when I was pastoring. I brought she's 12 now. She was 3 or 4 years old. I brought her up in the middle of worship one day, and I had a chair brought out of the lobby, and I sat down in the chair, and I had my ushers bring her to the steps, and they brought Emma Kate up, and she sat in my lap. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, you're here trying to worship this morning, trying to enter into God's presence, trying to learn, trying to become more like Christ. I said, why is it we think if we haven't checked off our spiritual checklist through the week, I served, I gave, I read my Bible, I did the things, that then I deserve to be in the presence of God? I said, I say this every Sunday, God's love for you isn't predicated on your performance. He loves you because you're his child. He created you a son and a daughter. No different than, you don't think my little 3-year-old was a snot this week? You don't think she hit her sister or took a toy away from somebody or did something she wasn't supposed to do? Of course she did. She's a human, but she's my daughter. She's always welcome in my presence. And it's really getting people out of the mindset that religion wants us to understand that we have to do something in order to be accepted in God's presence.
Yeah, but let's take your daughter, for example. Yep. So if she doesn't listen to you, would you throw her into an eternal lake of fire?
She's still my daughter.
So that's
even deeper.
So you'd never throw her into a big lake of sulfuric fire?
No, I would not.
Ever
in my fatherly form. Of course not. Of course I wouldn't do that.
But doesn't the Bible kind of say that about, like, if we don't follow, we're going to end up in hell, big lake of fire?
Yes, it does.
You believe that?
I do believe that.
You believe that?
Yeah, I do believe that.
Holy moly. Yeah. See, I can't believe that one. It's like, because I'm with you. Now, people will say, well, you don't know God then.
Right.
I know the scripture says, seek and ye shall find,
right.
and I'm seeking.
Right.
And sometimes people think they're seeking, they're not. They're listening, they're learning, just like his name. We all heard it was Jesus, so we say it. Seek, that's not his name, folks. That's not his name. And God's name is Yahuwah or Yahweh, or, how you pronounce it. But God is a title, number one. Number two, God, the actual name God, or word God, actually comes from goad or goat.
Goat, right.
And what's in a let's say Satan worshiping
it's a pagan.
cult.
It's a pagan
what's
word.
their thing?
Right.
Pagan, that's the
it's
word.
It's a pagan word. Yeah. It's a pagan word.
It's a pagan word. We're calling our God a pagan title instead of his name when he freaking told us to call him his name. Right. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. It doesn't make sense that if some God loves us, we're all his children. But if you don't, get the right information while you're alive, I'm going to make you burn in hell. I don't believe it. I can't. Yeah. I can't believe that. Yeah. Now, it is the story, though, and that's why I want to freaking find out so I can go out and maybe turn into a pastor.
So I would say this, and again, I was kind of going somewhere with this. When you talked about Jesus and what he did and his death, burial, and resurrection, really he did that for us to pay a price that we
Sure.
could not pay. And when you understand that coming to God or Jehovah, in whichever one of the names you want, Old Testament names you want to use.
Yeah, but that's not what Scripture says. It doesn't say use whatever you want to use. It says use my name.
I mean, whichever one of the Old Testament names of the 7 different names that you want to use.
Let's pick one
that mean different. Just say Jehovah Rapha. He's our healer.
So if you really believe that's his name based on your beliefs, why wouldn't you say that every single time from now on?
Well,
with my argument,
he is Jehovah Rapha if I need to be healed. And I've seen God. I've been on mission trips in Colombia where we laid hands and prayed for a mom who had a baby who was 14, 15 months old, who had a spinal problem, whose neck was literally bent over and could not lift her head up because she was born with this spina bifida or some kind of thing. And we couldn't even speak English. This lady spoke no English. And we prayed through her. Mary was our translator. We prayed for her. And I watched God literally lift that girl's neck up. And I watched literally a dozen or 24 people that were in that park. I had 30 kids in my youth ministry at the time. We went down there. We were doing drama and mimes to draw a crowd, and then we would just share the gospel, and we would pray for people to be healed. So in that case, for that woman, he was Jehovah Rapha. He was the healer because she literally watched her baby in her arms get physically healed and lift her head up.
Did they use the name?
Well, I did. We prayed for her. There wasn't necessarily a Jehovah. But what I'm saying is...
Yeah, but what name?
Oh, in the name of Jesus.
Because that's the only one argument I'm still investigating is a lot of people say, hey, I've seen stuff in the name of Jesus, so I know that's a powerful name. So, again, I'm still looking into it. I'm not making any claims, but I submit people to consider something. If I told you, dude, listen, I'll hook you up. Don't worry about it. Just if you would, tell people my name when you go out there. Just give me some credit, right? What would you tell him my name was?
Brad Lee. I wouldn't be Barney.
No,
it'd be Brad.
It'd be Brad Lee. Yeah. Now, what about 150, 200 years later? Would it still be Brad Lee?
It better be Brad Lee.
What about 1,000 years later?
Yeah, most definitely.
So why would it ever change?
Man, because we're humans, number one, and we don't do things right a lot of times, and then the enemy is real, and he is trying to get in and weave you and create obstacles for you to be able to come to the Father.
Yeah. So you would agree then my name shouldn't change.
I agree. I do agree. Yeah, I agree.
But yet we changed his name. Weird. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Now let's get to some business. Okay, because obviously you create a lot of business growth Stack Drive. Mm-hmm. Talk about the grow part. People want to grow their business. Listening right now, a lot of people are tuning in because they're entrepreneurs wanting to get past situations they're in. Everybody wants to grow their business. How do people do it?
Well, I think the number one thing that gets in our way is limiting beliefs. Every single one of us are born with limiting. We're born with fear. We're born with 2 fears. We're born with the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. That's it. It's like if you drop something in a house, the baby will scream and start crying. Or if you drop a baby, those are the only two fears that we're born with: fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Every other fear that we have are learned fears or learned behaviors. So limiting belief systems, and this is what's so powerful, and this almost goes into, again, any kind of leadership, business leadership principle. John Maxwell, Zig Ziglar, you name them all. I don't care who you use. All of those things come back down to Scripture. Number one, just so you know,
coincidentally,
but it's vision. The definition of limiting beliefs, Brad, is something that prohibits us from seeing the potential of our own future. And when you can't see the potential of your future, when you can't dream and see this, like literally, you're downstairs showing us earlier, you're showing us the room for where you're going to do your masterminds in your video wall. Well, guess where that started? That started in your heart. You saw that before that room was ever created. So a limiting belief system does what? You would have never been able to see that room because of things like fear, scarcity, insecurity, comparison, shame, and success. Limiting beliefs that keep us from being able to see the potential of what our life can look like.
So how do we fix that?
Well, there's 2 fears that we're born with, and that's it. So everything that we've learned, we can also unlearn. And that's as far as grow goes, the one course, and I think the number one place, and I don't care at what level you're at. So you may be, I liken this all the time. If you're a business owner, let's say you've got a 40-story building, and your business, every floor you go up is growth for your business. Let's say you're at let's say you're at a new business and you're on level 2 or 3 or 4, 2 or 3. Every floor you go up or growth that you go up, every season in your business where you grow, you're always going to have a new ceiling. So you may struggle with a limiting belief system of fear or scarcity at whatever level your business is, and you may be able to conquer that. And one of the ways we do that, identify, remove, and replace. Like, what is the limiting belief I'm struggling with? Then how do I identify, once I've identified it, how do I remove and replace it? I do that through affirmations. I do that through gratitude. So one of the affirmations for me that I say every single day, I will live a life where my heart and my head are in alignment. I'll live a life where my heart and my head are in alignment. Why is that important? Because the heart's where I dream. We just talked about the vision. It's where I see okay, Ken, this is what Growth Stack Drive looks like. This is what my real estate company looks like. This is what my life looks like. My head, on the other hand, is where my belief system is located. My belief system dictates what I say. What I say dictates my actions. My actions dictate whether or not I'm ever going to see the things in my heart come to pass. So if I'm struggling with limiting beliefs and those things aren't in alignment, I'm never going to see those things come to fruition, and I'm going to constantly be frustrated and lose hope.
You said what you say dictates your action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you think in the scripture, as a man thinks,
say,
so is he.
But you said say. What I say dictates my actions.
That's exactly right. Yeah, what you believe and what you say is going to dictate what you do.
Believe and say are two different things.
Right. What's your belief system in your mind?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to clarify because, again, what you say doesn't dictate your actions, in my opinion. Folks, and by the way, this is just all my opinion. A lot of people think I'm roasting you right now. I'm not. I just have a different opinion. Yeah. What you say doesn't mean shit. It's what you do. Now, why do you do what you do? You do what you do based on your beliefs. Right. Has nothing to do with what you say. That's why a lot of people say a lot of shit and never do anything.
Well, that's then you got to get into action.
Yeah, but it's not what you say. I just want to clarify because people, dude, bomb squads are listening right now. They're freaking writing notes. They're like, Renee. And a lot of people, again, they're not as far down the road as you and I. Mm-hmm. So they'll literally take what you say and fathom it into something that it's not even what you meant, first of all. But I wanted to clarify only because, dude, the belief system that you develop causes your actions and decisions.
That's right. And your actions and decisions, they're going to determine your destiny and your future.
100%.
And if that belief system's not in alignment with your heart, that's one of those affirmations. If it's not in alignment, you're never going to achieve the things that you see in your heart. And those limited belief systems will keep you.
How do you change your beliefs?
Number one, I'm gonna borrow a Brad Lee-ism right here. You get new information.
That's right. That's the only way. Do you know that?
You get new information. And
no. Watch this because I want people to pay attention. That is the only way.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. What's another way?
Well, that information is going to come from different resources.
Yeah, but it's still getting new information. In other words, the only way to change your beliefs is get new information. Period. Exactly right. That's the only way. Like someone says, well, what if you make a mistake and then you realize you got new information? You thought one way and then you made a mistake and you got new information that, so it's new information. That's the only way to change your beliefs. If people realize that, how come everybody's not got their nose in a fucking book? Like podcasts, books, self-development, experts writing books and having talks. Why aren't we all over them every day?
Because
people don't do that.
Because of limiting beliefs. They don't see the potential of their own future. Because of how they were raised, because of the environment that they were in, because of the people that they surround themselves. Because, again, the definition of limited beliefs is something that prohibits you from seeing the potential of your future. If you don't have any potential, what's the purpose in getting up in the morning?
If they're religious folks, Ken, what would be a good prayer to ask Yahshua or Yahweh for help in this area?
Yeah. So when people would ask me, every person, even today, Ken, how can I pray for you? I need wisdom and understanding. I need wisdom. Scripture, Proverbs is full of so many scriptures that talks about wisdom and understanding are more precious than gold. They're more precious than rubies. The wisdom and understanding point is exactly what you're talking about. If I've got wisdom and I operate in wisdom, I'm going to know what I need to do so that I don't make mistakes. But if I do make mistakes, guess what I do? I surround myself like guys like Brad Lee or Coach Michael Burt or Tim Story you've got coming on today, or Rob Luna when it comes to finances. I surround myself with the people who have the information that I need in order to grow in an area so I literally can crush that limiting belief and be able to see some potential in my future.
And that's definitely, again, what do you think about success leaving clues?
Oh, it always does. It always leaves. Why would you, people say, Ken, how have you done? In my entire life, from ministry, I literally surrounded myself in youth ministry around the top 2 or 3 people in the country doing what they did. From working college, I'm a referee. I do women's college basketball. I surrounded myself with the best of the best. Sally Bell's worked 12 national championships and Final Fours. My supervisors were some of the first SEC. Nan worked, she worked the Olympics in Greece in 2000. Sally worked the Olympics in 1996 in Atlanta. You surround yourself with the best people. And when you surround yourself with the best people, you can't help but be successful. You can't help it.
Now, the growth part of GSD, dudes out there struggling, reaches out to you. You say, look, there's 3 things we got to work on. Growth, what was S&D?
Mindset, strategy, and leadership development.
Yeah, what was the GSD?
So, guess get
growth,
shit done.
Stack, drive.
Growth, stack, drive, right. So the stack part is about creating winning strategies. So we do that. We've got 5 GSD code filters, and these are my core values: passion, focus, intentionality, teachability, and flexibility. Like, those are the 5 things. Those are the core values. Passion's how we attack our goals. I write my goals down twice a day. Something I got from Uncle G, and it works.
Hey, by the way, let's talk about goals for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to finish, I don't think, downstairs. When a goal is, like, let's say, on a lagging indicator versus a leading indicator. If my goal is to lose 20 pounds, 20 pounds is a thing that has to happen for me to hit my goal, correct? Mm-hmm. So that's a lagging indicator, meaning something already happened for that to happen. It's lagging. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, something had to happen for that to happen. So if we set our goals on the lagging indicators, by the time you realize you missed your goal, it's too late. So if we set our goals on leading indicators, what's a leading indicator of losing 20 pounds? What would be
so targets.
What would need to happen in order for you to lose 20 pounds, for example? What would you need to happen? You need to start working out. You need to start doing push-ups, walk around the block, eat right, whatever.
Track what you're eating.
Yeah, so if people are finding themselves setting goals that they can't achieve, a lot of times it's because you're setting lagging goals, lagging indicators, and by the time it's too late to make adjustments. So if you set them on leading indicators, like, my goal is to run 10 miles a day. My goal is to freaking eat 2,000 calories or less, right? That's a leading indicator of the main goal.
It's going to get you to where you want to be.
And not only that, but you'll know you're not heading there if this isn't happening. See what I'm saying? If I'm not working out, what am I going to wait 30 days and see if it worked? You already know that's not working.
Right.
So it's too many times it's like they said it here when they should said it here. Anyway, thought that'd be valuable for the listeners. Keep going, though. I want to hear. I keep going back only because you were a minister. And every time I talk to someone in ministry, it's like, I want to get to the bottom of this. So listeners right now, there's some of them going, praise Jesus. I'm so glad he's bringing this up. You know, because I get hit up, dude. Like, man, dude, get farther into that. Yeah. Problem is I don't get many, people that are experts. And being a minister or a youth ministry and a pastor doesn't necessarily make you an expert, but it's obviously better than the average Joe. But back to the business part. I want to grow my business. I come to you. What are you going to help me do? Develop my confidence, or you gonna
build confidence. Really, those 3 legs on Growth Stack Drive is build confidence, gain clarity, and create community. Like, those are the 3 things that we have to do. If we're not confident, we're never going to be successful. If we're not confident, we're never going to take risks. Like, dude, you've taken risks. Like, you have to take risk in order to be successful. Clarity, like, we can have this big picture, like you said, on lose 20 pounds. Well, what's the roadmap? What's my strategy to be able to lose 20 pounds? I'm gonna download my FitnessPal on my phone. I'm gonna track everything that I eat. I'm gonna get a good workout plan. For me, it's join F45. I was at F45 here in Vegas. I think it's my 10th or 11th F45 in 3 months.
By the way, what you're doing right now is you're providing leading indicators.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I'm gonna what we call as a strategy, create winning strategies. What's my strategy going to be? Because if I just throw up a goal of I want to lose 20 pounds and I don't have a strategy and a proven plan to be able to get there, guess what? I'm never getting there. It's not
theoretically. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So the strategies and then the community is huge. Who am I surrounding myself around? Like, literally, I tell people all the time, they say, Ken, how have you grown GSD so fast? How have you grown your real estate company? How are you go from one agent doing $8 million and finished 7th out of 3,725 agents last year? How did you go from that to scaling a team and having 4 agents, 2 more going through their pre-license? How did you do that? Well, I got around the right people who literally raised my belief lid is what I did. Brad, success is always about relationships. Always, always, always begins and ends with relationships. And that's where you get that new information like you talked about earlier.
Yeah, and I always say relationships are the new currency.
It should have, and I believe it's always the currency. Anything that I've done and been successful at over the past 25 years, I have always surrounded myself. I'm a college baseball umpire. Last year, I was very close to working Division I baseball in my 3rd year. It never happens. It's an anomaly. Why? Because 2 of my friends, one of them's in the big leagues. He's a big league umpire. I worked a game in Atlanta college game with my buddy Jay Pierce. Jay is a minor league. He was 5 or 6 years in AAA, and he's a minor league evaluator now, like single A and double A. We worked a game, and this is the teachability component where I talked about on strategy. We worked a game together at a college in Atlanta, and I handed him a little notebook and a pen before we went on the field. I said, listen, anything you see, this is 3 years ago, so I was 48, 49 years old. Anything you see today, I want you to write it down and let me know at the end of the game. Well, about every half inning, Jay would walk down and talk to me. He goes, hey, man, when you call your strike, I don't want you to point to the dugout. I want you to give me a little 45-degree angle. Hey, your head on this foul ball, I want your head placement here. Hey, your eyes are not tracking the pit. Just small little things. And about the 5th inning, Jay came down. He goes, because in the college baseball, you never come down and talk to your partner. You just don't do that. Like, that's not something you do. Obviously, Jay can do that because of who he is. He comes down and he goes, are you okay with me coming down every half inning? I said, Jay, if you came down here and told me to spin on my head on home plate during the 7th inning stretch, I would do exactly what you tell me to do because you've been where I want to go. And that's the teachability part. Who are you surrounding yourself with who have been where you want to go, who have that 10,000-foot view of what you're wanting to do? Surround yourself, and when they tell you to do something, freaking do it. It's not rocket science.
How many shitty umpires do you think exist in the world?
There's a good bit.
How many do you think exist?
There's a lot, man. I couldn't even tell you.
How many umpires exist, good or bad?
That's a great question. I don't know. There's 20. I don't even know how many major league teams there are. But there's a lot. I mean, in the big leagues, you don't really have shitty umpires because those are the best of the best of the best.
So do you think there might be a market for umpire training?
Of course there is. Yeah.
And then all the Pop Warner, all the little league.
Of course. I mean, I've got guys that run camps and
all the AYSO.
Yeah, of course there is.
Virtualize some ump training so we can stop some fights and some dads getting in trouble because the umps suck at those games.
When you get down to that,
they're
level,
volunteers.
Yeah,
they're not umps.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making, dude. You guys are talking about real umps, right? So many volunteer umps in these youth soccer and youth football and youth baseball. If those people could frickin' actually be actual umps, but you can't. They're volunteers. So what if there was a VT? What if there was a VT of big league umps training all the dads and even moms that are volunteering to be an umpire?
Yeah.
You think there's any value in that?
I think so. But I think it goes back to that first point we talked about, limiting beliefs. They're still going to have to see themselves as being successful and have some kind of a passion and a drive. Like I don't care if you're umping, T-ball or you're, coach pitch. Like I want to be the best at what I'm doing. I think that's the thing that keeps people in the position that they're in, is they just don't have that drive or the ability to be able to see themselves do something with excellence.
So growth, stack, and the last one.
Growth, stack, drive. Yeah. Drive. So this is about leadership development, about championing cultures of leadership with a little twist on it. And so the one thing, I spoke at a big event back in 1999, 2000, 8,000 people there. We had a video on my youth ministry. I was between really two giants of the faith. And then I spoke, the one that came right after me was really a mentor to me. She sat me down at lunch the next day. And she said, I was 31, 32 years old and really I was at the peak of what I was doing. I was one of the top guys in the country. And she said to me, she goes, Ken, do you want to be successful or do you want to be significant? Because they're two different things. And I thought, man, I'm in these big conferences. I'm speaking on these big stages. Like I'm somebody, right? And she explained to me. And so we teach.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why can't you be both?
You can be both. But if you start out in business to be significant, which basically means how can I help the people on my team win? How can I help the people that come to me win? I'm always going to be successful. If I start out to be significant, I will always find success. If I start out to be successful and I may or may not trip over significance, and I'm probably going to leave a trail of damage behind me almost every time, because it's about the outcome and about what I want to do. It's not about the team and the people that surround me.
Are there such things as bad teams?
Of course there is.
Nope. I disagree.
He said no.
I trapped you. Well, here's why. And I used to think just like you. Jocko Willink was here.
Yeah.
I'm in the green room. He has that book, I think, Extreme Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And that book says there are no bad teams, only bad leaders.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I knew
well,
where
I
you were
didn't.
going.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
shit, there are bad teams. Okay,
Yeah.
I've had them,
Yeah.
and I might even have one now, like, because he was here a while back. I'm like, shit, I got one. What are you talking about? Like, and I was arguing with him in there. I wish I had it on camera. It was awesome. Plus, you don't want to, mess with Jocko Willink.
Not a Navy SEAL. No, you don't.
He just looks like a freaking badass.
Yeah, he
but
is.
but he explained to me what he meant, and it finally clicked. There are no bad teams.
Right, I agree.
There's only bad leaders.
Right.
Because if you're a good leader, that's your team, number one. If you're allowing anybody to be on that team to be bad, technically,
It's on you.
that's your fault. That's
exactly
your
right.
problem.
Yep.
So again, back to you, bro. That's your team. It sucks. Well, then you're a sucky leader, or you wouldn't have a sucky team. There's no bad teams, only bad leaders. That's the facts.
Yeah, we help businesses solve problems in leadership development. Like, what does that look like? What does it look like for me to become a better leader? John Maxwell is probably John's most known book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. The number one law is what? It's the law of the lid.
Love
I'm the law of the lid, I'm always the lid. As the senior leader, whether it be CEO.
Is that an acronym?
The law of the lid? Yeah. So John's 21 laws is there's a law of the lid, there's a law of the big mo, there's all the different laws that John wrote about. But that first law in that book is the law of the lid. I'm the lid. As the leader, I'm the lid. If I'm a 6 or a 7 as a leader, I'm never going to attract 8, 9s, and 10s to be on my team. I'm not going to. So what am I doing as an individual or business owner to develop not only myself as a better leader, but my team as well? And as I raise my lid, then I can attract other people to be on my team who are great leaders as well. How's that for dropping bombs, baby?
You want one? You want one?
Come on, give me a bomb.
I'll give you one. I always mess with people saying, I'll decide the bombs, but that's a bomb there. All right. So the drive part, I see, in my opinion, a lot of times people are asking me advice, and the answer I'm usually finding myself, educating them on is a lack of drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in other words, what's the problem? Oh, I gotta get more customers. Again, you got to get more customers. That's the problem. That isn't the problem, folks. Why are you focusing on something that's not even the problem? That's not the problem. What's the problem? Well, I don't know how to advertise. Okay, that's just a statement. That's not the problem. What's the problem? Well, the problem is I don't have any money. Okay, good. See, now we're getting somewhere. And you start to find that problem. And now you can solve the problem. Well, when it comes to taking action, that's the problem.
Right.
And when people are sitting there trying to figure out their problem in their business and grow their business, and, it's the drive, it's the actions that they're not taking. That's the problem.
Right. And a lot of that stems from mindset. We talked about earlier. It's those limiting beliefs.
100%.
It's I don't believe that I can do it. And part of the problem is, Brad, they haven't either, number one, been around people, have relationship with people like you, like Grant, like all the people that we know. That we
But
have
why
common
us?
friends
But
with.
why us?
Because you're successful. Because you're making it happen. Like, you're literally doing, when other people look at you, like, I was stoked when you said we were on a clubhouse room together. You said, "Can you be on my podcast?" I said, "I haven't been invited yet, Brad." And he goes, "Well, you're invited." And I don't know, that was probably 6 or 8 weeks ago. When you get around people that have been successful, that are good people, like the one thing I love about our community that we've built with you, with people like Sharon Lecter and Greg Reed and Anthony Trucks and the guys that we've had speak, Coach Michael Burt, that we've had, speak at my events that we do, is we all have the same DNA. We really, really, really have a heart to help people win. How can I help people win and get more out of their life than they thought was even there? Like, how can you identify and look at somebody like Bradley and go, dude, there's unbelievable potential on the inside of you? Because some people don't even know it's there. They have no idea. the stuff that's locked on the inside. Again, limited beliefs. Because of whatever limiting belief they have, they don't believe that they could accomplish anything great. And when you get around great people and great people go, hey, you can do this. I always got two responses. And I'm sure you see this as well. When people come in and see the office, they're like, dude, dude, Brad, you're freaking knocking it out of the park, dude. This is awesome. You're going to have one or two responses. Hey, if Brad can do this, I can do this. The other response is, man, I don't know if I could ever pull this off. I don't know if I could ever do this. And number one, that's a limiting belief, but it's a limiting belief because you're not around the right people to help raise that belief lid in you so that you can believe that you can do the same thing as well.
There's a third one too.
What's that?
Haters.
Yeah.
They walk out.
I got to fake it.
Oh, that dude thinks he's so fucking cool. Did you see that stupid ass Stack Stone in the boardroom? Who the hell would do that? Like, man, he's just trying too hard. He's like, that guy probably needs to, there's haters.
Yeah.
And what people need to be aware of is when you're hating on other people's shit, especially when it has to do with success and money and stuff, dude, you're literally keeping you from it. Because I believe our minds are crazy, crazy powerful. And you're conditioning your mind to say, I don't want that. This guy's a bad guy because he's doing this and he has that and he's doing this, and you're hating on success, and it keeps you from success because literally you're creating this unseen barrier to keep you making decisions to stay away from success because you literally hate on it.
I had somebody I invited on my podcast. I'm not going to name her name because you probably know who she was.
What's her name?
I don't even remember
What's
what
it
her name
rhyme
is.
with?
She's an Instagram person. She's an Instagram builder. I don't even. It's a long name, so I couldn't even get to go there. But I sent her DM and we were DMing back and forth about getting her scheduled on my podcast, right? And she DM'd me back and she goes, "Oh, I cannot be on your podcast because you're a Grant Cardone licensee."
What does that mean?
She goes, "And I don't like Grant." And I said, in this exact, so I video messaged her. I said, you know what? There are things Grant does that I don't like. But there are also things that Grant does that I'm like,
you know what I would have said?
Like that. What's that?
Cool.
Well, I mean, but it just
I'd have said, thanks for the heads up.
It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you throw the baby out with the bathwater, eat the fish and spit out the bones? I don't care if you like someone, if you don't like someone, there is always something you can learn from another individual's life.
100%,
always.
100%. But that's what I meant by hater. Like
Yeah.
like she's the one that lost.
Of course she did.
Like she doesn't want to be on your podcast because you like Grant Cardone and she doesn't. That's who cares, first of all. Second of all, I said it the other day in a clubhouse room. If you don't like Grant Cardone, it's only because you don't know him.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, he's polarizing, let's say. But he's not out there screwing people. He doesn't do that.
No.
So, and not only that, he does really want to help. Well, he still wants to make money. See, you're hating on money again. So what? Why does that make him bad? Because he wants a shit ton of it.
Right.
And by the way, he's got a shit ton of it.
Yes, he does.
Well, that's because he's focused on it and he's not concerned with somebody else's dumbass opinion, whether they like him or not. If you told him that lady, he wouldn't even give a rat's ass. He wouldn't even blink. Matter of fact, he'd say, why are you telling me? Why are you spreading bad information, bro? Why are you even telling me? So, just for the listeners that are thinking, yeah, I don't like him either. Well, and they wouldn't be following me because most, you know, alphas that follow me and entrepreneurs and go-getters.
They love Uncle G.
Well, yeah, they like Uncle G.
Yeah.
Someone reached out to me the other day and said, Uncle Brad. And I said, I ain't your uncle. I said, I might be your daddy, but I ain't your uncle. Okay, there's only one uncle, okay? That's old Uncle G.
That's Uncle G. I've had about...
And actually, old JT Fox now, he's got an Uncle Paulie.
Yeah, I saw him.
But either way, I ain't your damn uncle. If anything, I'm your brother, but more than likely I'm your daddy, you know, but I don't like being called uncle.
Yeah. But I think that teachability part, that's one of our core values. I'm not only open to feedback, but I actively pursue feedback.
Are you Uncle Ken?
No, I am not. Some people, but I'm...
Or are you Coach Ken?
No, I'm not. Coach Bert's Coach Bert.
What do you like to be called?
Ken. Just call me Ken.
Just Ken?
Yeah, that's good, man.
Now you say it with a southern drawl. You say Ken.
Ken. I know it's got two syllables.
Yeah, but I'd straighten it up and I'd just say Ken.
Ken.
You know why Ken?
I can.
It's a double entendre.
Yes, there you go.
Ken. That's right. Ken Joslin. I'm so positive my name even says I can. That's pretty funny shit.
I love that.
So limiting belief going the opposite direction. Okay. What about people that are too damn optimistic? Is there such a thing?
No.
There's no such thing.
No.
What about delusional?
say, so if you're optimistic but don't have action to back that up, then
or a plan, or clarity.
Correct. Right. That's exactly right.
So that's where I'm driving, because I say it is possible to be too optimistic. Don't go from negative Ned to all of a sudden positive Pete and think everything's going to be gravy, because your positivity helps.
Right.
It's not going to do anything. You know what to do something? Action.
GSD.
Action. Get shit done.
Get shit done, man.
Dude.
You better believe it.
More people out there could double their income one simple way. And I tell them all the time. If people follow me, they've heard me say this. It's so simple. People don't do it. They think, I don't get it. Do more. See what I'm saying?
Massive action.
Dude, imagine if I sold you a $6,000 mastermind ticket. You showed up and I said, Ken, you want to double your income? You're like, yeah, do more. All right, see you later, buddy. And people would feel ripped off, when in reality, that is the freaking answer.
Right.
Do more than you're doing now. Now, you want the tactical? Here's the tactical.
Right.
First thing you got to do is do your numbers, know your numbers. Why? Because you have to figure out how you're making money. Let's say I'm selling something. Okay, you got to figure out how I'm making money. I'm closing a deal. Okay, good. How much do I make? Let's say I make $1,000. My goal is to make $20,000 in a month. I've only ever made 10. Okay, so watch how easy this is. You do more. So how'd you make the 1,000? Well, I had to talk to average 6 people. To make 1,000, you had to talk to 6 people.
That's
okay,
120.
so exactly. So like, you do the math, you do the numbers, and then that's what you do. A lot of times people then go to the next problem, because doing more is the answer. So once you know what to do more of it. Simple. You'll double your money. But watch, everyone listening won't just double their money next year or this year. Right. Why? Because they won't do what I'm telling them. They're like, oh, I don't get it. What's there to get, people? Like, do more than you're doing now.
Let me share a story with you. We've got a guy in our GSD community. His name's Charlie. He works for a big HVAC company in South Carolina. And he just sent me a video yesterday. The company goal for February was $115,000. Last Wednesday on our call, we have about 4 dozen entrepreneurs in our group coaching on Wednesday night on a Zoom call. And he had 2 weeks ago, he was at 115. He was 108,000 for the month by himself. Sent me a video yesterday, posted on our private Facebook page. He hit $203,000 this month. The whole company goal was 115. He's never done above that. He did 200,000. This is exactly what he said. He said, Ken, because of how you taught me how to, and our second core value is focus, that's how I dominate my calendar. You said it earlier on our Clubhouse thing. We waste so much time. And he said, Ken, when you taught me how to color code my calendar, and I'm sitting here making calls, and I am living up to the goals I'm writing down and the targets I'm writing down every day, I never would have imagined I could have hit $200,000, but he took massive action, and now he's done something literally in 30 days that he's never done before.
And now other people will in his company.
That's exactly
because now people will believe it's possible.
Roger Bannister, 4 Minute Mile.
He got new information.
It's the same thing. That's exactly right.
Dude, so if people are out there lacking drive, help them fix it with tacticals.
Yep. Yeah. So one of the things we talk about a lot, one of the concepts I believe in is incremental, not monumental. And that is it's small daily disciplined decisions over time always equal monumental results. Success cannot escape you. We were in a big mentorship call with Grant a few months ago. Grant and Elena were on, Jared, the whole team, and there's 1,200, 1,500 of us, a ton, right? On the Zoom call, I text Jared. I say, hey, I got something. Grant gave us homework. He said, your homework this week is, I want you to ask 5 people to describe you in 1 sentence or something like that. So Grant goes, hey, preacher, what you got? And so I unmute myself, and I said, hey, Grant, hey, Uncle G, this guy named Grant Cardone gave me some homework this week. We're supposed to ask 5 people to describe us in 1 sentence. I said, since you and Elaine are sitting side, and he's he's laughing because he's like, you got me. I said, I need you to describe me in 1 sentence. This is what he said. He goes, Ken, you always show up. You're always here. Every time I look up, whether it be a live event, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on our calls, you're always here. And out of that, I really birthed that incremental, not monumental principle. Every single day, show up. Small, daily, disciplined decisions over time always equal monumental results. Success cannot escape you if you'll do it. Listen, great leaders show up when they don't feel like it. Great entrepreneurs show up when they don't feel like it. I'm sure you've got stories of showing up when you didn't feel like it. And now here you are walking us through, I don't know how many square feet your place is downstairs with a video wall. Like, you had to show up on the days you didn't feel like it to be able to do and have what you have right now.
Yeah. I mean, but I always felt like it, so.
And some people do, and I do 99% of the time. But there's still that 1% of time I just don't feel like showing up. You know what? I get my ass up, I take my pre-workout, and I go to the gym. One of the most important 30 minutes of every week is Sunday night before the week. And literally that's where I'm doing my goals for the second time on Sunday. I'm looking at my calendar all week long, and I am time blocking my calendar out so I'm not wasting time. You said it on the Clubhouse call today. Most people waste. I do this. I call it things.
I'm always curious to find out, like, when people make claims like you just did, if they actually do it. Like, I want to go to your house and be like, all right, show me the last 6 weeks of notes.
All you need to do is hop on. I go live just about every Sunday night. I'm live almost every Sunday night.
I believe you, because this is like a process for you, and you're teaching it, so you have to practice it, otherwise you're being hypocritical.
It's no different than pastoring a church.
I know,
I can't tell you how to live if I'm not modeling that out in front of you.
Yeah, but dude, there's so many people that claim they write down their goals all the time. And I've busted a few by saying, well, what are they for today? And they're like, well, yeah. And it's like.
You want to know what my goals are?
What?
For Ken Joslin team, $20 million, 20 new agents with daily team meetings, $16 million in real estate sold, 5 new agents to EXP every month, 6 homes that we flip. My personal goals, lose 86 pounds, get on GrowthCon 5 stage, D1 baseball, time with my girls, and me, working on me. My GSD goals, $1.35 million this year. That's 4 new one-on-one clients. That's 20 masterminds, 20 whiteboards. That's 4 masterminds. That's my 250 goal, 250 people at live events at $2,000 a ticket, and 250 people in our GSD by the end of the year. How's that for clarity?
Clarity.
That's freaking clarity right there. Drop a damn bomb over there for me real quick.
Only because a lot of those were on lagging indicators.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
And then I have those broke down for targets. And basically what we do is
you might want to shift those goals to the things that make those happen,
right?
The leading ones, and you might get a little bit of a surprise. I don't know if you hit your goals a lot or no.
Oh no, we hit them. I mean,
now let me ask you a question: if you have a goal of $20 million and you make 19, is that a win or a loss?
So I had a mentor tell me 20 years ago.
Win or a loss?
Oh, it's a win. It
is not a win. That is a loss.
Oh, okay.
It's a loss, bro. It is. Is it not? Look, dude, if I say, hey, my goal is 20 million and I come in at 19 million.
It depends on if 20 million.
I didn't hit my goal.
Right.
That is a loss.
I would say it depends on if 20 million is a low goal or not. But if you set a 10X goal and it's like this BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, and it's like this insane goal, and one of my mentors said it's better to aim for the moon and make it halfway than aim next door and make it.
Well, that may be true. However, there's a lot of people out there that set big-ass goals all day, and they miss them all day, and they subconsciously program themselves to believe that they're losers.
I would say have grace on yourself. You've got to have
I would say set smaller goals.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, set smaller goals and rack up the wins. You can make the big ones and still throw some losses in there if you should lose. But if you want to get in the habit of winning and get more confidence, you have to remember successes. So what is a success? It doesn't have to be a big one, does it?
Right.
Why does it have to be 20 million?
I say
do you think you can do 5? You're like, oh, I know I can do 5. Well, then set 5 as the goal. So when you hit that 5, can't you set another one?
Right.
Now, set another one.
Which is what I did. My goal was 86 pounds.
Yeah, but
now that I'm at 55, I moved it to 86.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how big those are or little those are, but I want people to consider sometimes when you're setting those big goals, that's where you get kicked in the old ding-ding.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because you're constantly losing. That's true.
Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, even subconsciously, I'm a loser. Well, how do you think you're a winner? You start setting goals that you can achieve, and you intentionally and consciously understand that that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. And all day long, maybe that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. Pretty soon you start sitting up taller.
Yep.
You start feeling better. You start deserving more. You start wanting more, and which is all good, right? Because you're feeding your computer with wins. But as soon as you say, hey, it's 20 million, that's my only goal, do everything you can to hit it, because if you don't hit it, you registered a loss in your brain, and you may not be aware of it, but that is a loss. And that's a dangerous loss. Why? Program yourself. And you said it already earlier in the very beginning. You can't outperform your own self-image.
Right.
Period. You're never going to outperform your own self-image. So you got to look inward, like fix yourself. A lot of times people are like, I don't know how to do it. Well, that's why you reach out to GSD.
That's right.
That's why you look up Ken Joslin at Grow Stack Drive, because you'll help them. That's what you do. That's what you enjoy.
That is what we do, and it is fun.
You ain't got a book yet?
It's called As the Leader Grows. It'll be out in about 60 days. You can go to growstackdrive.com/book.
Is it for pre-order?
It's pre-order right now.
You can pre-order it right now?
Right now.
Damn, dude.
Yes, sir.
That's balls.
Yes, sir.
That means it's coming.
Hey, I got this friend of mine that said commit first and figure the rest out later.
That's a good
Yes,
one.
it is.
That's a good one. Most people are afraid to do that because they're fearing what other people might think if they should lose.
But Brad, when you balance that out against the people that you're like with Charlie, $200,000. He's been with us for 30 days. Now, he's watched me in 10X for 14 months. And literally in 30 days, he doubled his revenue by getting connected in our community. Just simply by implementing one of the calendar strategies because he knew he was wasting time. Literally from that, he's doubled his income in 30 days. Like when you balance the haters out with the wins in what you're doing and how you're helping people win, who cares? I'm famous this week. Somebody cloned my Instagram account and is asking everybody for Bitcoin. So I feel kind of famous this week. Like haters, who cares? Who cares? I literally do not let them rent space in my head because I'm too busy focused on helping people win.
What are the top 3 books for entrepreneurs?
Woo! So Sharon Lecter just did a book for, I'm going to say Think and Grow Rich, obviously number 1.
Okay.
I'm going to give Uncle G some love on 10X Rule. It was a game changer for me.
Okay.
The Outwitting the Devil book that Sharon just did with Napoleon Hill Foundation, it was a manuscript that was written 75 years ago. I was at Sharon's house last month in Phoenix for a couple hours with her. That book is absolutely phenomenal. So
isn't that about negative self-talk, basically?
It's literally his conversation with the devil. Have you not read it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm gonna read one. I'll have it sent to you. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna see Sharon this weekend. I'll get it autographed and sent to you.
What's the summary?
It's Napoleon Hill's conversation with the devil and how he comes after people in their businesses and in their personal life. And it is, dude, it is jaw-dropping to think that he wrote it 75 years ago because it is for today. I'll give you an example. One of the things they talk about in there, in that book is when they had the flu in New York, 1917, 1918, something like that. The year escapes me.
Spanish flu.
I guess
1918.
it was. But what they did was the mayor or the governor went to the newspaper and said, listen, we've got to stop publishing all the negativity about this flu. And in 6 weeks, it was gone. Now, look at where we're at today. Compare that to today. If we would just shut up and stop just honing in on negativity, on what's going on, how quick would COVID get away? It'd be gone. But literally, he wrote this 75 years ago, and it is so for today. If there's ever a book for today, Outwitting the Devil is for today.
Boom. There you have it, folks. Ken, appreciate you coming all the way out here, by the way.
And I appreciate the invite,
bringing your entourage.
I did.
Yeah, he has an entourage if you guys can't see them. But bombs are always dropping here, folks. Go to Growth Stack Drive. Follow Ken Joslin. Are you at Ken Joslin?
Yep, at Ken Joslin on Instagram. Don't follow the _ at Ken Joslin because he's a fake, and they haven't shut that account down yet.
You don't have a check mark yet?
I do not, but I'm working on that.
Well, you know how you get one?
Being on Bradley's Dropping Bombs podcast.
No.
How was that?
You ultimately create or be thankful for fake accounts.
Yes.
That's why they give you check marks. So if they are under the impression that somebody might be fooled by another account, that check mark is for their users. In other words, they check mark people so their users can be sure that is the person you're looking for. So all the fake accounts that pop up on people sometimes, because who's going to make a fake account for nobody's?
Right.
So at the end of the day, fake accounts actually help you start getting.
Well, this is my second one in a month or month and a half. So.
Well, you're getting there, dog.
I know, right?
Bomb Squad's going to help you. We're going to blow you up. We're going to reshare this podcast. We're going to freaking do some sort of hashtag GSD.
That'll work.
Hashtag Yahshua. Right?
Hashtag Camus 2016 Cabernet.
And hashtag dropping bombs. Until next time, kids, keep it real.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe now.